Hey, honey, and welcome back to Becoming, a space for the woman who's been everything but seen. I'm Sarah LaJoy, and today we're talking about something I didn't even realize I've been doing for most of my life: living in survival mode, long after the storms had even passed. They say time heals everything, but nobody talks about what happens when life finally slows down. When your heart is still in defense mode, when the chaos ends but the peace feels like a setup, when you're safe but your softness hasn't caught up just yet. That's where I was, and maybe that's where you are too. I didn't realize I was still in survival mode until peace started to feel uncomfortable. Rest made me feel guilty, and quiet moments had me pacing. I couldn't sit still without my mind racing to the next problem to solve, the next thing to control, or hell, the next day to plan. I was the strong one, the dependable one, the she's got it wife, friend, mama, daughter, sister, cousin. I wore it like a badge, but baby, was it heavy. Nobody checks on the strong one because who really asks if you're okay when you always look like you are? And at some point, I forgot how to stop performing strong. And under his wings, you can hide. His truth will be your shield and protection. That scripture reminded me that I'm not out here uncovered. And I wasn't put here to figure it out on my own. I'm not exposed or forgotten. I'm covered, safe, and baby, does he have his hands on me. And for the first time in a long time, I could finally exhale, not just physically, but spiritually. And let me be real with you. You know, one of the first ways that I started to reclaim that softness, lotion. Yes, ma'am, I said what I said. Before this, I barely even worn it. I'll buy it for my kids. They'll wear it, make sure they're lotioned up. But me, I'll be rushing, ashy ankles and all, just moving through the day like my body didn't deserve the attention. I didn't have time to feel soft because I was too busy surviving. But now, you better believe I take my time. Speak to myself so softly, so nicely. And I have my favorite little combo. It's just a little lotion mixed with a little body oil gel. And baby, does it melt into my skin like butter. I treat my skin like it matters because it does. And this right here, this is my softness. This is how I remind myself I'm not living in survival mode anymore. I'm allowed to care for me, not as a reward, but as a rhythm. But this wasn't just another routine or a self-day plan, a self-care day that I've been planning. It was God's way of shifting me. He brought me to Isaiah 43:18. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. And that's when I knew I had a cycle to break. Because survival mode had me thinking I always had to be on guard, always ready, always proving myself, always pushing through another day. But it was God's way of showing me the season I prayed for couldn't live in the same space that my mind had fought through. And I couldn't keep thinking that I could ask for peace while holding on to the very much thing that I was asking God to take. So let me ask, what are you still holding on to that you've already asked God to take? And be honest. What's the one thing that you've prayed for release from, but you're still clutching to? The truth, the version of me that learned how to survive, she wouldn't know what to do with all this softness. She couldn't hold on to the softness that I'm living in now. And I had to learn that letting go didn't make me weak. It made me open for something gentler, for something better. But let's talk about it because it's not easy. Because survival, that version of me, that's the version everyone knows. That's the one everyone loves. And when I started healing, when I started choosing softness instead of strength, rest instead of rushing, some people didn't know what to do with that. And honestly, sometimes I didn't either. But here's what I know now. I'm not replacing who I was. I'm making room for who I'm becoming. And that version of me, honey, she deserves to be known too. So now I'm learning to slow down, to rest without guilt, to stop apologizing for needing space, and stop proving I'm okay when I'm not. And most of all, I'm okay with not being everything to everybody. So, to the woman who's listening, who's still in go mode, still holding it down, still doing everything for everybody but yourself, honey, I see you. I was you. But you don't have to keep living like that. It's safe. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to be held. Honey, you're allowed to be soft. So, here's your permission slip, sealed, signed, and delivered. Take off the armor, lay down the burdens, and let God carry what you were never meant to hold alone. Because being soft, being whole, becoming free, that's the real victory. So, let me leave you with a little affirmation. I'm not who I used to be, and I'm no longer have to be everything to everybody. I choose peace. I choose softness. I choose me. Let me hear it one more time. Just, I'm not who I used to be. And I no longer have to be everything to everybody. I choose peace. I choose softness. I choose me. I'm Sarah LaJoy, and this is Becoming, a space for the woman who's been everything but seen. Every voice I share, every story I tell, is so she walks away with something. I love y'all real bad, real bad. And remember, you are enough.